All right, let's dive into one of the most powerful, and yeah, let's be honest, one of the most complex theories of story out there, Dramatica. If you've ever worked on a story and just felt like there was something missing, that you just couldn't put your finger on, well, this is for you.
So, let's just get right to it with a huge question. We've all been there, right? You've got this amazing character, a killer setting, a plot twist that's just mind-bending. But when you actually put it all together on the page, it just falls flat. Why? Why does that happen so often?
And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. A great story isn't just a scrapbook of cool ideas. For a story to really land, to have that powerful, lasting impact, every single piece has to be working together, serving a single, unified purpose. And that feeling, that problem, leads us straight into what we can call the writer's dilemma. It's something that honestly hits every kind of writer out there.
You've kind of got two camps, right? On one side you have the plotter, who outlines every single detail, but that can end up feeling so rigid, so formulaic, that all the life gets choked out of it. And on the other side you have the pantser, the writer flying by the seat of their pants, and they often come up with brilliant, amazing moments that, well, they don't add up to anything. See the problem? Both of them struggle to connect that deep, meaningful core with a solid structure.
So, what's the fix? Well, this is where Dramatica theory comes in and kind of flips the whole table over. It asks us to stop thinking about a story as just a series of events happening one after another. Instead, it wants us to see it as a single, functioning mind. And this, right here, is the absolute core concept, the story mind. Get this, a complete story isn't just about a mind, it is a map of a mind. Every single element, the characters, the plot, the theme, they're all just components of this one consciousness as it wrestles with a single central problem.
And this is where the magic happens. This one idea connects everything. Suddenly your characters aren't just people running around doing things, they're the competing thoughts and perspectives inside that mind. The plot? That's just the mind's problem-solving process, playing out for us to see. And the theme? That's the mind's final verdict, its value judgment on the whole shebang.
Now, this leads us to what is maybe one of Dramatica's most startling and most useful ideas. It sounds crazy at first, but stick with me. Characters are not people. Dramatica makes this really crucial distinction. It says you have a player, which is just the vessel, the name, the face. It could be a person, a shark, even a spaceship. But the character is the dramatic function that player represents inside the story mind's argument. In fact, one player can even switch between characters, like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation. And check this out, because this one idea just shatters one of the biggest myths in storytelling. We always use main character and protagonist like they're the same thing. They're not. They serve two totally different functions. The protagonist is the one pursuing the overall goal, but the main character, that's the I perspective, our personal emotional window into the story. A perfect example is To Kill a Mockingbird. Atticus Finch is the protagonist, right? He's driving the whole legal case. But the main character, the person whose eyes we see it through, is his daughter Scout. Let's use an example we all know and love. Star Wars. The whole story mind here is basically having a huge argument about whether to trust in faith and rebellion or give in to cold, hard technology. Luke is our protagonist. He's the one trying to destroy the Death Star. But all these other players, they're just different pieces of that same argument. Obi-Wan is the conscience. Leia is pure logic and reason. In Chewbacca, he's all gut feeling, pure emotion. So let's just quickly break down some of these key roles. You've got the protagonist driving the action forward, the antagonist obviously trying to stop them, the guardian like Obi-Wan is there to help and be that moral compass, and then you have this really fascinating role, the contagonist. That's Darth Vader. He's not the overall antagonist, the Empire is, but he's that temptation, that detour that tries to pull the hero off their path. Okay, so we've got our characters acting as different facets of a single argument. Now let's look at how a truly complete story examines that argument from every single possible angle. Because you see, for a story to feel truly whole, it can't just give you one viewpoint. It has to create this comprehensive 360-degree look at the problem. And Dramatica says there are 4 essential perspectives, or through lines, that you absolutely need to make a complete argument. First up, you have the main character's story, which is the I perspective. This is our way in. It's personal, it's emotional, it's what it feels like to be inside the story, dealing with this mess firsthand.
This is where we, the audience, put all our empathy. But then, to challenge that, you have the impact character story, the you perspective. This character brings a totally different way of dealing with the problem to the table. They're constantly poking at the main character, challenging them, basically saying, "You're doing it wrong. You should be more like me." And that tension creates the story's core philosophical conflict.
So what happens when I and you are constantly clashing? Well, that's where the we perspective comes in. This is the relationship story. It's focused entirely on the dynamic between those two characters. And hey, this isn't just about romance. It can be a rivalry, a friendship, a mentorship. This is the emotional heart of the story's argument.
And finally, we pull the camera way back for the they perspective. This is the overall story. It's that objective, bird's-eye view of the whole conflict, looking at how the problem is affecting everyone involved. This is the big picture, where all the plot stuff, the car chases and the battles, plays out.
So, when you put all of this together, the story mind, the character functions, these four perspectives, you finally arrive at the ultimate purpose of a story. It's not just to entertain us, it's to make an argument.
And this brings us to what might be the most important distinction Dramatica makes, the difference between a tale and a grand argument story. A tale is just a statement. It says, this is what happened. But a story is an argument. It's an analogy for a mind trying to solve a problem, and its job is to prove that one specific approach is either the right way or the absolute wrong way. And this brings us right back to where we started. This is how you solve the writer's dilemma. By building this complete story mind, by looking at a problem from all four of these perspectives, you create a story where every single piece has a purpose. Nothing is random. The structure isn't just some formula. It's there to generate a unique and deeply resonant meaning. And the result is a story that feels both surprising and completely inevitable, leaving you with a message that really sticks.
So I'll leave you with the powerful question that Dramatica asks all of us. It's not just what happens next. It's much deeper. What is the fundamental argument that your story is trying to prove? When you can answer that, you're on your way to creating something that people will never forget.